Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Dexter in the chair. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good mate. I'm very well, thanks mate. So what are we doing today?
So I have been cutting my hair since like COVID.
Okay. Yourself?
Yeah, myself.
Oh right, okay, well done.
So I was using like clippers and then I kind of wanted to go for something longer.
Okay.
So I've been growing my hair out, but it's just like a bit unmanageable now, and I don't know if I'm feeling the long hair. I have someone who I like see their hair and I'm kind of like, I want something like that.
Okay. And do you have a picture of this person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's videos as well. He's like a TikToker.
Okay.
So he turns around.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a little bit kind of like what I have, but I think the back is a lot tighter, and then the top is just.
I think his hair's thinner than yours though.
Really?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't work.
It will still work, but I think it's just a lot thinner than yours. That's why it falls that way. Yeah, because yours is very thick.
Yeah.
You can already see it's very thick. I mean, it's never going to be identical. Right?
Yeah. I know that.
But I think you could probably get away with something like that. Yeah, for sure.
I think the parts of my hair which annoy me are like here, because this gets so like thick and heavy, and it just like kind of flops down.
Yeah.
And then like the back is pretty long now, but it's just annoying because I wear a hat a lot of the time. I used to not wear a hat ever.
Okay.
But it's just,
why are you wearing a hat a lot of the time?
I don't know. It's just hard to manage the hair. Like wind.
So it's for the hair. It's you put it on for. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it will like wind will come and my hair will just go like, whoosh, and it will completely
but you know what, though?
Change everything. Yeah, it probably happens the same.
Happens to him as well. Yeah. So I think the areas that you're struggling with, I mean, these bits here, you're probably struggling with because this is too short.
Right.
That's why it's sticking out.
Okay.
So that needs to be a lot longer. And then it almost, what's happening at the moment, it's sitting on a shelf of hair here. So because these are longer than here, that's why it's sticking out, because it's sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
So that's why the foundations of a haircut are the back and sides. They're the things that allow the top to sit flatter, stand out, stick up, do whatever. When the sides are longer than here, then that will just always sit on top. It just lays itself on top. So you're always going to get loads of hair sticking out because it's basically sitting on a shelf.
Right.
Essentially. So what we need to do is we need to cut it into that shape. So the hair comes forwards more, like this, and it sits just on the eyebrows. And it's very top heavy. So essentially this length through here is what I'd need to keep today. I think that's actually way too short actually. But that's the length that I'd be using for a guide to connect into the sides today. You probably need to go this out a bit more, because the thing is everywhere else is so much shorter.
Yeah.
So much longer than where that top bit is. It looks as though it's been pulled up to here and cut.
Yeah. And
not pulled down here to cut, which is what you need it to be.
That is how I do
angles, it's all about angles. The fact that you're cutting your own hair is phenomenal, because I don't even cut my own hair. So hats off, mate.
It's hard.
But it's angles.
Yeah.
That's why we don't do it ourselves, because you can't get the angles that you need on yourself.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you pay someone to do it for you. So I think you're going to have to let me kind of go with it and just cut the shape in.
Yeah.
To get it to look exactly like that, yeah. And your autopilot needs to change as well. You've got to stop doing this.
I know.
You've got to stop.
It's just getting it out of my eyes.
I know, but when you started that, you've got to stop doing it, because you are encouraging your centre part.
Right.
So by you doing that daily, you're encouraging your centre part. And when you keep doing this and falling, I'm not going to be able to make it look like that. Okay. So you've got to try and change that around. Is there any videos on what his autopilot is when he styles his own hair? So you can see it's quite short on the ears, comes out, it rounds out quite a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's styled in to sit a bit flatter.
Yeah.
With just a bit of wave. So I think if we can try and use that shape today, I could cut it to that shape today.
Okay.
But the thing is though, the problem that you're getting at there, this bit here, we need a lot more length for that, because if on that top bit comes down to about here.
Right.
So we're about an inch away for the length. So I think what we need to do today is cut it in that slightly rounder shape. So when it dries, because you can see it's square, but it's very flat on the top as well. So it's quite a lot of length on the top.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of length on the top, and it's quite short.
And I think I've got like a lot of length on the back compared to
the top. Yeah. You do. It's these bits here. That's the top.
Right.
Top of the head. That's where we need the length. You've got loads of length here. You're actually, what you think is long and where you think is long is actually not where we need it length today.
Right.
So we need all the length from the top here.
Okay.
Which we haven't got, because we've got loads of length here. See?
Yeah.
So that's what we kind of need. We need all this. So I think it might be a bit of a work in progress. But because it's such a textured finish.
Oh, I did it again.
See? Got to knock it out, mate. Because you're not going to get that look otherwise.
Yeah.
But what we need to do today, I think we need to cut it into the ear and try and maintain as much of this corner as we can.
Okay.
and then cut that closer into here and into the neck.
Right.
And then reshape the top, add loads of texture to it, and then try and style it the way he styles it as well. Yeah? You sure, yeah?
Yeah,
cool. All right then. So, all right. I'll try and make it look pretty much exactly like the way his is.
Is it going to be like a scissor cut, basically, and no clippers?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. Okay.
Yeah, cool. I wouldn't be using. There's no way I'd use clippers on this unless I was taper, unless I was doing some sort of tidying up on the neck.
I think it's just so hard with long hair because I didn't expect you to do this, but whenever you go into a barber, I feel like they just instantly go for the clippers.
Yeah, no, a lot of people say, you're going to clipper this? Are you going to use clippers? And it's like, no, not at all. But I can see why people ask that because it's so common. Yeah.
So it's going to be slightly shorter than what it needs to be because it needs to all grow out at the same.
This bit here, these corners here, they need to be the longest. These almost need to come down to the top of the ear, like fully, these sections here.
Okay.
They need to come down to like sort of here. So we're quite a bit of a gap away because then that way you create that shape. The top then lies on top of the sides, and that's what creates that fullness as it goes around like that.
Right.
Let's give it a wash and a condition, and then we'll go from there. All right. So, shampooed and conditioned Dexter's hair, and now we're going to start by cutting the shape in on the back and side. So we need to leave as much length on the top as possible. Okay. And this is where we need to start creating that very top heavy shape. So essentially, if you break this haircut down, I think a lot of the TikTok haircuts look very, very technical because it always looks more complicated than it actually is if you actually look at certain elements of the haircut. So if you think about it, let's break that guy's haircut down. It's very long on top with his natural curl and wave and movements. He's probably accentuating it with a diffuser or he's accentuating it with some sort of products. But if you look at the ears, it's off the ears, and it's off the neck essentially. It's still on the ear. It's not like clean lines around it or anything like that. It's still on the ear, and it's still very natural on the neck, but essentially it's just very top heavy around this corner and around the top. So it's a bit of a 90s kind of haircut, just not centre bottom. Now, so this is going to be interesting. I like watching these videos back because I'm essentially using traditional barbering methods like scissor over comb, which has been around for generations after generations after generations, to create a very 2023 trendy haircut. So that's what I mean. You don't have to use fancy new techniques to create fancy new styles. You can use traditional methods, fundamentals, to create the look that we want. Scissor over comb method, I'm going to probably start from a bit lower down as well because we need to build all this length. It almost is a rounder shape and then it's kind of styled square. So that's what we kind of need to do today. And then I'm going to start fairly low down. So normally if I was doing any sort of short back and sides, scissor cuts, whatever, I'd start about an inch below the section. But on this, because we want to keep a lot of the weight round here, I'm going to start here because we want to create this. We're going to cut it on this angle today for it then to sit flatter and squarer. And lift this up, elevation, because this is going to lie on top of itself, okay? I'm getting closer and closer to the nape. It's taking more off. But I'm not creating like a taper though. I'm not going that short. I'm still keeping some length down the bottom so we can still keep that natural finish going down there. And then I'll do a bit of freehand to cut into the nape like that. Same again, using the guide, following from the same height, lift it up. There's my guide that falls out and cut. Now this is where guidelines come in handy because Dexter's been cutting his own hair and he's not a trained hairstylist or barber. So the angles he's been cutting at is whatever he can see, not necessarily what needs to be there. Would you agree on that one? Totally, at the back, you're only cutting whatever you can really see, right? Yeah. So we're going to find loads of long bits, loads of short bits, all that way. But it doesn't matter, right? Because when we're doing our guide and we're cutting our guide in and we're following our guide, it doesn't matter what the previous haircut was like. Especially when you've got lots of length in it, it doesn't matter because we're following our guide from here. I'm going to follow this guide all the way around. So regardless how short this bit is here compared to that bit, as you can see, there's a big difference in length. It doesn't matter because I'm following my guide. So don't worry about length coming through the comb that looks really long and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't matter. We're just flowing from the centre to the left-hand side. I think if you come to this angle here, Liam, you can already see what I'm trying to create. If you think of that, if you go back on the video and you pause it on the side of the head of that guy on TikTok, that's the sort of shape he's got. Top heavy, tapered in slightly to the nape, and then working on a top heavy haircut. Here's my guide, lift it up. There we go. Again, just freehanding. So again, we're not cutting it around the ear, we're just cutting it into the ear. And that elevation in there as well. Our floor's nice and heavy and not blunt. And this is a really natural finish. The only time I'm going to use trimmers on you, Dexter, is to tidy your neck hair up, okay? It's the only time. Right down from this bit and just take this and shape this a bit more how I want that to sit. And we need to leave a bit more length on this side here because its neckline goes inwards, so we need it to hang over like that. So we've left the weight by layering it down like this. We've left a bit of length just in this section here to act like a bit of weight and keep the nape down. There we go. And when it's wet, it looks very flat. When it dries, it'll go, okay. Picking it up, I've got the guide from my left-hand side now. And I match into it. So realistically, Dexter's neckline isn't really a good one for this kind of style, because the guy who's on the video doesn't have a neckline like Dexter's. He has a neckline more like mine, where it goes outwards. Dexter's got a cow's lick here, comes on in, and then grows into here as well. So it's very different. Look, it goes up there and up here, so it's very asymmetric, right? So we're gonna have to work on that. So to create that very soft, natural finish around the bottom, because if I don't, it's not gonna work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand this a little bit later. So as you can see, I've left a lot of length in that, but I'm going to freehand that when I've got rid of all the neck hair underneath. Right, it's really long, all long layers as well. Shape it around the ears and the side pens and stuff. So I'm going to take away this here, because that is not going to allow me to lie that hair down, okay? So comb in, and take that away. Alright, nice and flat now. And through this middle bit here. I'm going to taper a little bit through there. Essentially what I've done is I've cut the neck here blunt with all that length hanging over it, so it keeps the weight. I want this to be very heavily textured, so I'm going to do some razor over comb, lift it up. I'm going to do this. Not on the nape though, because we need that weight. There we go. Now, move on to the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and match up this centre part essentially. So, creating a T section along the top, Come from just behind the ear, both sides. There you go, straight down the middle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and start to take away that corner a little bit and start to make the top bit blend in with everywhere else. So taking a finger width section across the top, working from side to side like this. Vertical section, find the guide underneath, angle it until we get to the top bit there. Like that. So I need to start getting rid of this little bit that's creating and making everything be like a problem area. You see I'm trying to stay on the same angle I was before with the scissor over comb as well. Just there, we're just going to start bringing every section from that point back to here. So this is our last section before we start over directing the front, because again we want to leave loads of length at the front. Same angle. Be 2 more sections. The first one here into the fringe, that gets pulled back. Same angle as well. Like that. And the final section also gets pulled back. So again we leave loads of length at the front. Right. Same this side. Find the same angle. There we go. Got our guides. Everything gets pulled back to this section now. Right, now to connect the crown in, we go from front to back now. Pull it out. We do a bit like a sort of odd orange segment in a sense, that kind of shape. We're going to have now is a nice big point again. So we're going to ping it up from here. We're going to have the length that we need to the top. As you can see, not much really needs to come off. To be honest, there's nothing that needs to come off through this bit here. I'm just going to work through anyway. Well, this left-hand side here, as you can see, a little bit off there. That looks all right. A little tiny point there, tiny point there. Start pulling this fringe back to create more length in there, more graduated length, more than just being like a long fringe and nothing else. Right, now cut the fringe in, see what that's saying. We just like setting nice at the bottom there, so we need to cut that up a little bit. This almost sit just below the eyes for when it does curl and dry, it stays a bit higher up. Right, so last but not least, the razor now. This is where you're going to bring out all that curl, that movement, that separation, that kind of thinned out kind of look as well. A razor where to really thin out. I want that curl to be a little bit more pronounced. I want it to look really messy like his is. Pull this out. I'm going to work into my fingers. And that's where it falls a little bit more separated as it falls on the face. So I want this to look very, very natural, right? It's a kind of surfer vibey kind of look as well. I know he's not dressed that way, but if you were to look at the haircut, it's kind of what I'd class as that. I want to kind of bring out that wave and movement and curl that he's got in his hair, like that, right? Now I'm going to fast forward this with the diffuser, okay? Can you shake your head left and right for this? Perfect. I'm going to start to dry this on the sides and the back first, okay? Now, if you lean your head forwards for me, drop your hair in, yeah? Right, how's the shape looking for you, mate?
It looks really good.
Yeah? So essentially what he's got is that kind of top heavy and shows the back and sides. Essentially, we need more length through here, like we said, but other than that, it's going to grow into that, right? Now to finish off, because there is already a paste in here, I would just use a tiny little bit of clay just to create that movement in there, okay?
Okay.
So if you want it, could you get him up on the videos for me so I can have a little look at how he finishes his hair off normally? Yeah, sounds yeah, cool. Rub it in, and it starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter as it dries in. You've got it kind of slightly parted on the one side, hasn't it? It comes a bit like this, slightly parted over, a little bit messy, not like fully cut in or fully styled that way. And it's kind of just nice and big on the sides. I think that's the best we're going to do today, mate. It does look really nice though, man.
It does, it looks good.
It looks good, doesn't it? The difference in the shape is quite big. If you see the back.
Yeah, that's nice.
It sits in there now. You've got all that weight and that length through there. Here. We just need to build up on this bit, just over here, just this section.
Right.
That's just where that bit needs to fall in. If that was heavier and longer, that would be perfect. But that's essentially the shape that he's got. Short on the ears, comes out big around here. That'll be much rounder when the length gets in there. But again, that picture at the very start, that's probably as close to it as I can possibly get with the length.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the way his hair falls is very natural on his face and stuff like that. It's kind of what I've tried to do for you. Just so it looks just like as though you haven't styled it yet. We've just spent, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes styling it, if you know what I mean. So, but that's essentially what we need to do. Just build on that.
Okay.
Get the top longer. Keep the shape in the back and sides, and you're done.
Perfect.
Suits your loads, man.
Thank you.
Suits your loads.